Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's Diego with the beautiful Karina, my lovely prometida. And we are waiting for our K1 visa to get adjudicated at the service center in California, USA. Way over there on the West Coast, and I'm right here, way over here on the East Coast, near Pensacola, Florida, in the Panhandle, north of Navarre Beach. And Navarre Beach is where Karina and I are gonna get married as soon as we get this K1 visa adjudicated. We're waiting, just like you. Our NOA1 letter is dated April 18th, 2022. Okay, so we are now in May 2023, so we're still waiting, but that's no problem. So you guys got your NOA2 letters, congratulations, well done. And to those folks still waiting, hang in there guys, okay? Give USCIS time to get to your package of information. But this video is the top 6 reasons why you get an RFE. What are the top 6 RFEs? Come on along. An RFE means request for further evidence. No. Now I'm sitting here in my back garden on this sunny day, and as you can see right here, I had to fix the fence. The fence was getting kind of bad there, so I replaced those slats. But what I'll do eventually is I'm just going to replace the whole thing, you know, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'm too busy doing visas, processing visas and videos and stuff. But Karina, she's from Caracas, Venezuela, my fiance, but she's a legal resident of Bogota, Colombia. And here are the top 6 reasons why you could possibly get an RFE. Now the first reason is that you haven't met in person within 2 years. You got no evidence, or you've met but you got no evidence, okay? This is probably the most frequently mentioned reason why you get an RFE. When you file your K1 visa, you have to include evidence that you guys met each other face to face within the last 2 years. Not 2 years in a day, not 2 years in a month, the last 2 years, the last 2 years, okay? And U.S. immigration law is a law from Congress that requires evidence that a couple in a fiancé visa process has met this requirement. You know, for example, one person filed his K1 visa package, then flew to the Philippines to meet his beneficiary, thinking that that was sufficient and that he would provide all the evidence of meeting in person at the embassy interview. Doesn't work that way. Another person went and flew to South Korea, met his beneficiary, and then COVID hit, and then waited for 2 years and a month before filing his K1 visa. His visa was denied because there's no evidence, okay, of meeting in person. Even though they did, he wasn't within the time frame. Another reason is income, okay? You got to meet 100% of the minimum income requirements for the embassy interview and 125% for the adjustment of status in the United States for your green card. And that's well and good, but you got to bring this evidence to the embassy interview, okay? I would say you get your last 3 tax transcripts. They're probably only going to ask for your last year's tax transcripts. Now, what if your income wasn't quite enough on your last tax transcript, but you have a job right now where your income is enough? Well, all you got to do is bring your pay stubs, bring your bank deposits, you know, show where your money's being direct deposited into your bank account, prove that you make the income, and you're good to go. But people, you know, are getting RFEs at the embassy interview because they forgot to bring their tax transcripts. They forgot to bring their 1040s, their W-2s, their 1099s, okay? You got to bring this information to the visa interview. You can get an RFE at the visa interview. You can get an RFE from USCIS also, or the MVC. No, not the MVC. The MVC don't control a K1 visa processing. They just create the case number. So income is a problem for some folks because they didn't bring the evidence with them. Another reason folks get an RFE is because they have a missing or incomplete divorce decree. Okay, like you're divorced, okay, no problem. Things happen. Life goes on. But you have to include in your K1 visa package a copy of the divorce decree, a certified final copy, the judge's copy, okay? Not the magistrate's, not the, well, this in process, no. The finalized divorce decree, every single page, okay? Because Congress requires that you are legally able to marry your beneficiary, okay? And problems include not sending the complete divorce decree. You're missing pages. You're missing signatures. You know, you send a copy of the divorce decree the judge hasn't signed yet. Okay, non-finalized versions. Or you fill out your K1 visa package and you've been divorced, but you don't include the divorce decree. Period. Nothing. You write in the K1 visa package. You know, I think it's on page 2 or 3 of the I-129F. Yeah, I've been divorced here. On this day I got divorced. But where's the paperwork to back up that statement? You got to prove it. All right? Another reason for an RFE is an incomplete form. Okay? Missing signatures. You didn't sign the I-129F. They're going to send it back to you, the package. Okay? You know, if you fill out your I-129F and you leave a bunch of spots blank, without, remember now, you got to put NA, NA, none, none, NA in all those blocks that don't apply to you. You can't leave anything blank on the I-129F. And you might get an immigration officer who just absolutely wants to see a completely filled out I-129F, so he'll send it back saying, fill it out properly. You know, it's an RFE. And it's unfortunate that this happens, guys, but it happens, okay? Another reason for an RFE that's common is issues with the birth certificate. Okay, your birth certificate, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. You know, this probably involves you sent in a short form birth certificate, or a birth certificate that hasn't been properly copied and notarized. Okay, or a birth certificate from a hospital. A hospital birth certificate is not doesn't count, guys. In all cases, USCIS, U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services, require a long-form certified copy of your birth certificate to prove citizenship, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, to prove you're an American. You know, or if you want to prove citizenship, also you can enclose a copy of your passport biographic page, your U.S. passport, and/or your naturalization certificate. Okay. And number 6, the final most common reason for an RFE is missing or improper letters of intent to get married. Okay. This is a legal document that is written by you, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor, and your beneficiary in his or her language of her country and translated into English by a certified translator, unless, of course, she can speak English or he can speak English. Like in the Philippines, English is a common language, so you can write it in English. But you have to include a letter of intent to get married. Okay? This demonstrates that both parties are free to marry each other, and you guys intend to do so within 90 days. Okay? And in the letter of intent to get married, you're going to state that you, Mr. Sponsor, an American citizen, and you, Miss Beneficiary, like Karina wrote in her letter of intent to get married, I'm a Venezuelan citizen, I'm single, I'm free to get married, legally free to marry, and we will do so in 90 days when I get to the USA. If you don't include this letter of intent to get married, signed, not the original form now, not the copies, not scanned copies, not photocopies, the original letter of intent to get married, signed in wet ink, black ink, dated, and by the beneficiary for her letter with the translation if required, and the letter from you, Mr. Sponsor, Miss Sponsor. If you don't include the letter of intent to get married, you're going to get an RFE. Okay, guys, that's it. Those are the 6 main reasons for requests for further evidence from USCIS. And don't forget our live stream on Wednesdays at 5 p.m., Saturdays at 7 p.m., and Sundays at 11 a.m. Join us for the live stream. Now, I'm not an immigration attorney. I don't give legal advice, but I've been through this K1 visa process twice. I know the process like the back of my hand, and I want to share with you my knowledge and my information to make your transition nice and smooth. See you at the live stream.
I'll be back.